Let's take a look at another Turtles of Grayskull figure. This time we're looking at one of the deluxe figures. This is Krang, alien brain in a Megator android. When I first saw product shots for this guy, I was not interested at all. I know I kind of wanted to see what they would do with Krang, and I'm glad he's part of the line, but I saw this figure and I just really didn't think it did Krang or the android justice, and I feel foolish in retrospect because it didn't occur to me that what they were trying to mesh here is Krang the android and Megator. And as soon as that kind of dawned on me, I was like, oh, I was all in for this figure. If you watch videos of mine or reviews of anything from Masters of the Universe, you probably know that Megator was one of the two giant Motu figures that were released at the very, very end of the toy line's lifespan, and they were only released, I believe, in Italy. So they are really, really rare, really expensive. Definitely a holy grail item for any Masters of the Universe collector. And knowing that they took that character and paid homage to that by meshing him in with the android makes this a much more. It makes it much more of a figure that I'm happy I have now. My one gripe with it is that, dare I say, like, they missed an opportunity to give us a really like beefy, almost giant-sized android / Megator like for this line. I would have happily paid more for even though this is a deluxe figure and it is bigger than the other Turtles of Grayskull. I would have loved to see something like twice the size of this at a higher price point, but just give us something that would really do justice to sort of like the scaling and the size of both the android and Megator, which were both kind of enormous. They were big toys. There he is battling Raph, and we'll bring him out for comparison. All right, let's get this guy out and see what he's all about. That rhymed. So he is a larger and more kind of imposing figure than I had first feared, I guess, because of the way he's packaged with that midsection not attached. So he's a formidable figure and definitely the largest we have from the Turtles of Grayskull line. But I'll throw some comparisons up here so we can get a sense of how big this guy is. It is amazing to me how much my opinion of this figure is helped by the fact that I now know this is supposed to be Megator mixed with Krang, because if I didn't know that, again, like, this is an ugly figure. I know it's a Ninja Turtles crossover line, but that is an ugly green. So being a deluxe figure, even besides him being larger, he does come with some extra stuff here. First off, because it's not attached yet, he does come with this spiked mace ball on a chain, which is really, really nicely painted and detailed with a lot of like dents. This thing has seen some battle. He does come with a very serviceable axe. And Krang comes, well, as you can see, he fits in very snugly in the midsection of the android. This is just sort of like a hinged door that just swings open and he pops out. And he is, come on, stand. He's actually a very, very cool little Krang. I can't put my finger on it, but he looks very, very reminiscent of either the Krang I've seen on the old animated show, maybe not, maybe the comic, but it's a kind of a slightly stylized Krang. He is tiny. He's tinier than our vintage Krang, which, hold on, I think I have him right here. Yeah. Vintage Krang, Turtles of Grayskull Krang. But the midsection is nice. It does add a separate waist joint, so now he's got two. But he, of course, comes with this piece not attached. So this is the android figure without that midsection to hold Krang. It's nice. It's detailed enough for this line. The head sculpt again is all is very cool and works for me now that I know it's Megator. That's the last time I'll say it, I promise. I like the little tuft of hair up here. Something is, I don't know, it's Goro-esque. And here he is with the ball and chain accessory attached. Krang's in place, the midsection's in place. Oh, he's falling down. So for comparisons, we have what I think up until now, before him, was the largest figure in the line so far, as well as Raph right here. So he's the most imposing figure in the line, and he's great. He's worth having. I think he's a good addition to the line. My only gripe, like I said, is that I think they missed an opportunity to give us something really, really special in the Turtles of Grayskull line by making this guy really, really oversized, which would have been more kind of reminiscent and done more justice to the figures that it's supposedly kind of crossing over, with Megator being a figure that I think was like at least like 12 to 14 inches tall. And for comparison, here's my original Krang and Android from the original Turtles line. So at least being this size would have been such a nice thing. And again, I would have happily paid more to get this guy in this scale. But that's for the most part my only gripe, I think. And that is just a quick look at Krang from the Turtles of Grayskull line.